Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Rivalz Race Chat. Clinton Jeffrey here. And Adam, did you spend Spencer an extra couple cheeseburgers this week? Because that was a flashy new intro we haven't seen.
I wasn't watching it. Wow, well, that is fancy. I'm actually just writing a Facebook post to share it up. But yeah, that we're not worthy.
We have a great show planned here today. We have John Carley coming on from the Canadian Vintage Modifieds. We have Mike Mallett coming in from Dirt Track Digest. We're going to talk about a whole bunch of subjects. And if you guys have anything you want to talk about, please let us know. Adam, we have a horrible echo in my ears, so I don't know what's going on there.
Oh, and I can hear Spencer's heavy breathing. It's actually kind of exciting. It's added motivation.
That's better. I was trying not to start in the intro, and you know how hard it is when you're hearing yourself come back like 10 seconds later. It was bad. Okay. Anyways, Adam, I'm excited.
Where did I announce not long ago where there was an echo the whole time? It was like a second behind.
That is tough to persevere through, and you just have to push through sometimes and go for it.
It was the night I filled in for Stephen Evans, actually doing that broadcast for Rogers series. Everything was on a delay, so it was my voice that I was hearing about a second after I was saying things, and man, you get trapped inside your own head. It's brutal.
Some great things happening, Adam. We're over the hump into the new year. We're getting into the full speed of the racing season coming up right now, and we have some great stuff to do. First, everybody, thank you so much for joining us and watching with us every week. Hopefully, enjoy this little bit of a hangout. We look forward to it each week. If you're watching with us, do us a favor and give it a share, and let's work on getting our numbers up tonight. We have some great guests here. We're going to talk about some cool stuff. And of course, if you have anything you want us to discuss on the show, feel free to send it to Adam, myself, or Spencer, or any of us here that you know through our network of friends. It'll get back to us, and we'll get it on the show. So, public announcement out of the way. Let's bring up John Carley and get into our first topic of the night, which is the Canadian Vintage Modifieds, which have done a great job building a resurgence with John's help this year, back at the helm of the club, and I hope I'm not spelling it out wrong. We see John join us in the middle here, and John, welcome to the program. Congrats on what you've already done with the program for your series. I think it's got a great buzz going on right now. You got to be proud of what you've done in a short amount of time.
Thanks for having me on. It's been quite a ride starting back at the beginning of December. I think we're doing pretty good. We got 31 confirmed cars for this year, so it's a pretty big jump from 12.
You know, John, the year before, I think it was the year before I raced with the club, so it would have been 1998. It was Sauble Speedway on the long weekend, and I think that was the last time the Hobby Club, also known as the Canadian Vintage Modified, sent any cars home. You remember that? The Parkers had all come up from Michigan. I think there was 30 cars there that night.
Yep.
Since then, has the club ever sent unqualified cars home from the racetrack?
To the best of my knowledge, no. I don't like to say that, but back in the day, we had 36 cars show up, 24 cars get to go in the feature. We're hoping that happens again this year. And I think it's going. I mean, young drivers came on as a title sponsor, and with their help, we've brought quite a few other sponsors on. So we're looking to have a pretty good field of cars, and some of the cars that are coming back. We got some old time drivers coming back to run some laps. I heard tonight a rumor that there was a past champion from the 90s that might run a couple of races this year. I can't say who it is yet because they haven't confirmed, but it's like a 90% sure.
Okay, John, for some of our viewers who may not know what the cars are, and Adam, we go in rotation here. Let's keep it rolling. Spencer, I gave you a bunch of pictures. Adam, Spencer, I gave you a bunch of pictures today, so maybe you can roll up a few of them and show maybe some of the viewers at home who may not be familiar with the Canadian Vintage Modified what type of cars we're talking about. And John, maybe you can explain technically what the cars are and a bit of the history behind it.
Well, the club was formed from the jalopy days back in the 60s, the ragtag, everybody running at wherever they wanted to run. So they started a club in 1966. It's an incorporated club. The bodies are original from the window up, from the window line up. They're race cars underneath. We have a spec frame that's a club frame. 5, 6, 7, I can't remember the exact year, 7 or 8 years ago, we allowed crate engines, 602 crates, as they come from GM to run. Added 125 pounds to the overall weight so that the sixes, the inline sixes, you're still allowed to run an inline six, 256 cubic inches. But they turn about 350 horse. So it's pretty competitive. But the bodies as of now are still all steel bodies. They're all original, pre-49. And then everything underneath it is manufactured. Like we make our own chassis, solid axle front ends. This year we're going to allow coilover suspension. Up until this year, only leaf spring was allowed. We're going to allow quick change rear ends. We're allowing power steering, which hasn't been allowed up until now. Making some changes to get some of the newer teams, pure stocks, mini stocks, super stocks. We have a couple of late model guys that are parking their late models and coming racing with us this year. So we're trying to attract a new generation of drivers.
And playing open wheel, I mean, it is an attractive kind of racing. So you take the hobby club, and John had mentioned the 70s, the 80s, where you had dozens of cars showing up week in and week out to try and qualify, and the numbers dwindled. And in recent years, it's not that much different than a lot of other divisions where the conversation had been, and when I say other divisions, talk about Legends cars or Pro Challenge Cup cars or Pro 4 cars. The conversation is always, well, there's dozens of cars sitting in barns and shops all over Ontario, but we got to get them out. And people have said it year after year, but it's never happened until this winter. John, is this your second stint as club president or third?
I was president 4 times in the early 2000s. So 2000, 2001, 2002, and 2005. 2000, 2001, 2002. Yes.
So, and John's been active with the club the whole time, but now in stepping back into that role.
Yeah, I've been a driver since 1989.
That's pretty cool. But to see it come together with points money on the line, with actually making the phone calls and getting people excited, and that's the key, Clinton, is not about the money, but the money is good. There's lots of sponsors. It's about someone getting excited and being able to lead the charge and get people off their butts and get these cars dusted off and bring them to the racetrack. I'm looking forward to it. I'm coming out to watch some races for sure.
Maybe we can find a car that you'll fit in. Not a shot, but you're tall.
Yeah.
Well,
I
let's
found,
be honest, the one time I saw Adam race was at Jukasa in the Canadian Vintage Modifieds, and he actually pains me to say he actually did pretty good. That was quite impressive to see Adam out there.
My last race.
He was a pretty good driver. All in all, he was a pretty good driver.
All right, that's enough.
All right, but it's hard. It's hard. If you hear me stuttering, it's hard because I have to use my phone to be able for you to see me, and then I'm trying to watch it on the big screen, but there's a delay.
Don't do it.
So
don't do it.
It's throwing me off. Yeah. It's throwing me off. But Adam was a good racer. He climbed on top of my car one night at sunset to get Paul Henderson spun in Joe Arsenal's oil. I think it was Joe Arsenal. And I hit the wall. Adam backed it into the wall. I spun to miss him, and Paul Henderson came in and rolled his car up against the wall and was jammed between my car and the wall. And before I could I couldn't get out of the car because he was against my window. Adam come running from his car, and Adam did run. He ran from his car before I was completely up. And as he's jumping on my hood, he's going, "Sorry about your car, man." And up and help Paul get out of the car.
Yeah, wasn't a long career, but it was a storied career.
So, John,
It's a fun series to race in, and we raced at Oshweekon. We did. Adam put together a deal, and I can't remember the year because I'm getting old. But we put it out to the club. Anybody that wanted to run the race at the Big O, we could come and run. And I'd like to say I won the very first feature race, but I didn't. I won the very first heat race that we ran. We had 14 cars show up. We ran heat, and it is a different feeling when you're used to running asphalt to take those cars and run them on dirt. I think Dave Elliott pulled some spark plug wires to keep the horsepower down a bit. But I won the first heat, and I finished third in the main event. David Elliott won it, and the 5-car, Mike Pod, finished second. It was pretty amazing to run on the dirt.
I thought it was Ronnie Easton who finished second because I thought Dave passed him right at the end. But it wasn't. It was not a great showing for the club or for dirt racing.
Well,
no, but it was fun. It was fun in the car.
Super skinny too. So,
yeah.
John, big resurgence this year. So, what's other than cars coming out and a new sponsor? Anything else you want to get out here to the viewers and fans, and maybe why they need to get out and support a Canadian Vintage Modified show this year if they've never been out?
They need to support not just our show, all your fans of what you guys do. We need to do at every track. It doesn't matter what track it is, doesn't matter what division it is. People need to get out and come to the track. The drivers, the crews, at the beginning of the year, there's usually it's a little light on the crowd because it's the weather, because it's so cold. But it's pretty sad when you win the race and you go to get interviewed and you look up and everybody's already in their cars because it's so cold. But we got to run when we got to run, and we need the fans in the stands. The fans in the stands bring better sponsorships to the track, better sponsorships to the cars, and with that being said, the seats being full make for better racing because everything starts snowballing. This whole thing that I've accomplished, and I have a hard time talking about it because I don't like to pat myself on the back. But I've been on the phone every night. I've been on the phone. I've been on the computer. I'm on the phone during the day at work. Good thing I have my own print shop, but so my boss doesn't get too upset about it. But I've been making the phone calls. I've been talking to people. I've been talking to sponsors, and really everybody is excited. We're excited to come back, put on a good show. We're staying at Flamborough. We're not going anywhere else. We need to build up our car count. We need to build up our fan base again. We left and went on a big traveling show for 10, 15 years, and some people feel like we left our fans behind. So all of our fans come back out to Flamborough Speedway and check us out. Come on over to the pits afterwards. We had a big fan appreciation night on August 29th. It's a Saturday night. There's going to be a 50-lap invitational for late models. There's going to be a 40-lap super stock, pure stock, and mini stock. And for the first time that I know of, we put together a deal to do $1,000 to win 40-lap feature for the Canadian Vintage Modifieds, which because of our car count, we're going to go back to 3 heats, a consi, and 30-lap features every night.
Yeah,
awesome.
The fans will be rewarded. The racing is great. Now, do me a favor, Spencer. Go back to the full shot of John. Clint, did you see the plaques in the background? John, move your camera. There's a plaque that you can't quite see. I love the way they do their plaques, and we've had this conversation. So a big picture of the race car, and then you can list either the sponsors all around it or the driver's accolades from that year. But that way, because John Carley's been racing so long, he doesn't remember one year to the next, right? Like what was 1992's paint scheme? It's hard to remember. But by having these plaques year after year, that's a trip down memory lane. I love it. I love that plaque design.
We don't do it. There's some on the floor too. I haven't put them all up. Michael Kenny, who drives a mini stock, has watched me race since he was a little kid, and he was over once, and I had them all stuck in a closet. And he was over at the house, and he goes, "How come there's no race stuff in your rec room?" And I said, "I just never put it up." So he talked me into it. And I think he was only 12 years old or something when he was here, And well, we pulled them out and started drilling holes in the wall and put screws and hung a bunch of them up, and then I got lazy and didn't hang the rest of them up. But I love it. I love it. I love getting. Some people don't like trophies, and unfortunately, in our club, that's what we were told. We stopped getting trophies. We started getting banners and other things. To each their own. But I never got trophies as a child. I mean, look at me. I'm not that athletic, so now I have a whole bunch of trophies over in the corner, and I'm pretty proud of them. Now I give them away when I win. If a kid comes over, I let them get in the car, and I'll pick one of the kids that comes over to visit afterwards, and I hand them the trophy because that gives them another memory and keeps them involved with racing going forward.
Very cool.
Yeah. Awesome, John. Thanks for being with us tonight. We really appreciate it. We're going to follow this story throughout the spring and the summer. Keep up the great work you've done. And as a guy, a promoter myself, I want to say thanks because it's been many times over the past few years that I've been the manager of Weekend that we're able to hook you up with some tickets and you bring some new fans out, and we appreciate that too. As a great ambassador. So thanks, John, for everything you do, and best of luck with your endeavor this spring and summer.
I appreciate being on. I just want to one thing that you said, and I know you got a schedule here, but one thing you said, that what I've done, every division can do this, every track can do this. It's the egos and the personalities that clash. Need to put that aside and put the racing part of it first. The people that are sitting at home that have raced, that did support the shows and feel like they were left out or feel like they've been put to the side or their thoughts didn't matter. We all have to put it into perspective that the show itself is more important than any one team. There's not one team that has more money than another team that should get a better review or a better anything. It's the whole show. The sponsors are there to sponsor, but every team. I hope that makes sense. But I think we can do it with every division and every track and bring it back to life.
For sure, John. Thanks for being with us. Have a great day.
Thank you.
John Carr, ladies and gentlemen, newly returning, multi-time champion, president of the Canadian Vintage Modifieds. John's a great ambassador, Adam. Glad we can have him. I know series is near and dear to your heart, too.
It is, and I know John's awesome. I don't know if he's a multi-time champion, but definitely a multi-time winner in the series. Great guy to be at the helm, and we do have to give a shout out to Mike Westwood, who had a little bit of surgery on his heart last week, but he's chimed in, watching on Facebook and commenting that he might want to ride in that $1,000 to win show. Clint, they're great cars. They're cars with a lot of torque and no tires, so it's a lot of driving, a lot of pedaling. And it's good, fierce racing. So with good car counts, they'll put on a great show.
They take a lot of pride in the way the cars look too, and they're unique. So if you need that nostalgic feel, and like John said, they are real race cars. They're outperforming. They're running 602 crate motors, which produce a lot of power. So about everything they can handle on those small tires, whether they're on like an 8-inch tire or something, it's real tiny.
Yep.
So
a treaded American race tire.
Interesting. Well, thanks everybody for joining us. At one point, we almost had 100 viewers on, which is super cool. We have some great new broadcast news that we're working on. We're not ready to reveal that yet, but we'll have that ready for you hopefully by next week. And we've got some super exciting stuff coming up, Adam.
Yeah, we've got some great ideas that I think people will be excited over, and a great new partner coming up. I'm really confident in this, to the point that we can say, if you're looking for stuff, Clint, any kind of stuff, you should go to Brian's online auction. Go to Brian's auction, check it out. I believe there's an auction next Tuesday. We've been in talks for a long time, but I feel we're close to putting something together. And when was the last time? We always have quite a bit of stuff to get excited about, but I feel good about this. I feel like there's something good going to happen in our racing community, and we're building towards it.
I always think, it's almost a perfect type of relationship. And when you can build these up, because we're going to be able to help his business in a way that we may not be able to help a national brand or something like that. I really think the connection between his audience and our audience is perfect. We're going to be able to build on that. So super excited there. I almost refer back to our relationship with Strickland's where it's a win-win situation. They are super happy with it. We're super happy with it. Everybody kind of wins on the deal, and that's the type of deal we're trying to put together. But super cool. We have some cool stuff to talk about. Mike Mallett is hanging too. We'll bring him in a second, but just want to talk about the NASCAR Pinty Series race at Oshwegan Speedway, Adam. I don't know if you caught this, but Brett Taylor has been out practicing out in San Francisco, and we captured some pictures of him this week, and he sent out on Facebook. So Spencer, scroll those pictures up. And Brett Taylor, he was the last oval track winner at Jukasa in the Hathaway car, and there he is in what looks like to be a Monte Carlo type street stock out in San Francisco, practicing on the dirt and saying he is getting ready for the big race at Oshwegan, which makes me as the promoter super happy.
I like the attitude of the race car. Go back to that previous shot.
Yeah.
Now that does not look to me like a car that's about to spin out. It looks to me like someone who's finding the edge and wheeling that race car around the end of the track.
No,
you know what I mean?
Looks, yeah, he's got a good handle on there. We were talking about that the other day about pictures with Kevin Miller, Nitro Man, talking about, you got to catch that right angle because no driver likes to see their car in a push, but the attitude of that car looks fast. So super cool to see guys like Brett taking some action out there, taking some practice on the dirt to get the feel. And, the street stocks are going to be fairly similar to what the NASCAR Pinty Series cars are. Similar in weights, similar brakes, similar shock technology. Right. A lot of stuff is the same. Excuse me. Lost my breath.
And while we're talking about the NASCAR Pinty Series, folks, we've got about 80 people watching live right now. As the weeks go on, we're going to start running promotions for everyone who shares the broadcast. If you're watching right now, give us a share. Post it, share it. We want to get the numbers up, and we are going to reward you, folks. There's going to be some great prizes on the line, maybe some tickets to see the NASCAR Pinty Series at Oshwegan or other type swag.
Now.
Sure.
Let's do it right now.
There you go.
Share tonight's broadcast. So everybody who shares tonight's broadcast, we will pick 2 winners and give away 2 tickets to the NASCAR Monday, Tuesday deal with pit passes. How's that?
2 tickets or 2 pairs? Nobody goes to the races alone. What are you thinking? 2 tickets or 2 pairs? What? Okay. I just wanted to make sure. The way you said it, you sounded kind of cheap.
Come on, we're not cheap. All right, just for that. Although for tonight's share, we'll do 3 winners. How about that? So I'll give away 6 tickets for 2 nights each.
You're so generous. I was actually about to say something nice. You look like you got a haircut. Yeah,
I had to get a haircut.
Absolutely. You're
Every
looking
one
pretty
of my
stylish.
friends jaw jacked my hair the last couple weeks, so I just went and I cut it off.
Both of them?
Both of you, yeah. You and my dog KO. You're right. You and the dog, my 2 friends.
Nailed it.
At least my dog knows to shut up when we're on the air.
So some great comments coming in, and guys, this is what we appreciate. Todd Wilder, I'll definitely check out the auction. Love it. Yeah, Brian's auction. Ken Lillycrop is the big boss. He employs some people that are involved in racing. He's a racer himself. Clint even says from time to time he has tuned in to watch our show. And if you're wondering why I'm shaking a little bit right now, I've got 2 dogs, one on either side of me, that are being complete assholes. I mean, I don't know what their problem is. So I'm trying to keep them calm. We've heard them bark a little bit. But Terry Baker chimed in to say that Brian is an awesome guy, and he is good for the sport and good for us. And thank you, folks, for sharing. So here's the deal. 3 minutes ago, we said, hey, guys, please share the broadcast. We were 80 viewers. We have now leapt up to nearly 120 viewers. Guys, that's a 50% increase. Okay, when you go from 80 to 120, you've increased your audience by 50%. That's how, it's not easy, but that's how simple it is. Every action means something. So every bit of sharing, we're about to have Mike Mallett on the program, and it's going to be a lot of fun because Mike gets it. He's in central New York, and he drives everywhere in the world to see racing. And he can see, so Clinton, we go to Oshwegan every Friday, and we get around a little bit, but Mike Mallett goes everywhere. And he can see the tracks that thrive. He can see the places that actually put effort into promotion and it makes a difference. So guys, okay, now you've damn near doubled our viewership. So one kind act, and we really appreciate the shares, folks. And we're going to achieve some great goals. This is exciting. So we appreciate it. We hope we're putting on a bit of entertainment for you. I mean, making fun of you, Clinton, or poking fun with Greg Callan, that's not even work. Like I would do this 7 days a week just for shits and giggles.
Yeah. And looks like tickets are the way to go. So we will bribe you with tickets every week. Let's move on to the program. Mallet, are you hanging around? If Mike's here, he can join us for this segment. Welcome, Mike, to the show. We capture some videos each week, Mike, and every time we throw one. This is a pavement video. We know we have a lot of asphalt fans up here in Canada who watch the show and that. And two of the big superstars got into it. Sometime last week, it was Bubba Pollard and Stephen Nasse got into it. And Spencer, roll the clip. You make the call here, guys. We'll watch the clip and see what your thoughts are. So, all right, he's got some
Bubba Pollard on the inside.
So Bubba gets him there and gets him up the track a bit. So the question there is one more acceptable than the other? So there's Bubba, watch. Just kisses him in the right rear, but moves him up the track, doesn't wreck him. So is that Nasse doing a great job of saving, or did Bubba not get him as much as Nasse got him?
It's arguable that Nasse came down a little bit. Like you'd have to see a couple of laps previous. Is the line there right against the inside wall, or is the line, half a lane up? Because Nasse definitely got into the corner panel of Pollard through the turn there. I'd like to see it at full speed again, because when we saw it the first time, I was kind of surprised Pollard looped it all the way around. So watch them in. Tell me if the 51 comes down or the 26 goes up.
No, it's so hard to tell. Speed, what do you think?
Tell me if Pollard should have saved it. Bump. It's almost like he could have saved it, but then lit it up to spin it sideways. Bizarre. Mike, your thoughts?
My question is, did he get him again when he was sideways? When he was off. You see him get the initial contact, but we can't see if there was contact again once he gets a little sideways.
Here you go.
You know what I mean? So did he finish him off?
So there he goes. There. Push.
Is there room?
No,
maybe there's still space there. Yeah, maybe. Maybe he just hit him in the right spot to get it done. I mean, I don't know enough about how those cars handle, so it's tough to make a call there. But
so
here's the thing.
Let's
think about this. There's always intent, like as a race director, you watch stuff like that and you see the initial contact and you're like, all right, I'm going to watch this now. So then when the guy goes and in the next lap, the guy gets spun around. Okay, now that's intentional.
yeah, there's payback on the restart. So here's something. You have to race with a code. So you look at the great racers, guys like Tony Stewart. Punch me, I'm going to punch you back twice as hard. What I don't like about that, Bubba Pollard just turned a guy off the corner. There were cars behind them. You always have to respect the fact that there's cars on the track, drivers on the track who don't need to be racing through your dirty laundry. That's bad form, in my opinion. Don't wreck someone in front of a field.
Yeah, you're bringing guys into it, had nothing to do with it, and then you wreck their stuff, and that's a bad night for everybody. So yeah, you know what? They tit for tat. Maybe he deserved a little retribution because the other one, he didn't feel like he got into him as much. I mean, I thought the initial one was a racing contact going into one. They were racing hard, and he kind of had a run underneath him. Then he backed out of it a little bit, but not far enough, and he got him. But again, he didn't wreck him. That to me is always there's a difference between hard racing and wrecking.
No, cool. The only reason we brought that in, Adam, you and I worked, the big race at Ducasse last year with Pollard winning those races. He's well known in these parts, and of course, with him and Stephen Nasse have no small history of run-ins with each other. So, just found that a bit of an interesting video we'd want to talk about. Welcome to the show officially here, Mike. Just bringing you talk about all things dirt, getting ready for the Florida swing with the Deo series, the Super Dirt Car series. I don't know how much you want to talk about Deo putting up the meme yesterday. throwing a dig at the ESS guys. And, you know, Adam and I talked about that today a bit on our drive together. Was that, you know, was that unprofessional or was it good tongue-in-cheek fun? We also want to talk about the Atlantic City race coming up and anything else you want to discuss. So off the top, let's talk about the meme. If you didn't see it, basically Dale threw out a post saying, in no other words, that the ESS wasn't interested in coming to Fonda. What's your take on that whole situation there? Not hard to dissect if you're on the inside with, or at least the perception with Dean being.
And here's the hard part for me. I love both organizations. Obviously, we have a relationship with the Short Track Super Series, you know, with Dirt Track Digest TV. You know, we're going to be broadcasting weekly at Fonda Speedway with Dirt Track Digest TV. So I have a vested interest in Fonda. I grew up at Fonda. I love Fonda. And again, I work for ESS. You know, I'm good friends with everyone involved there as well. So for me, it's a tough place to be. I got to tell you, you're on a fence, you know. But as I've said in the past, you know, whether you have an issue with Brett or whatever the issue is there, you know, between Brett and Dean or ESS and in general, you know, it's tough for someone like me with my passion and my love for Fonda. You know, I want to get a chance to call races at Fonda. I love calling a race at Fonda, and one of my favorite things to do is see sprint cars at Fonda. So for me, it's tough. You know, I really love it. But as you know, as we always say, there's more to meets the eye in every story that goes on in racing. So it's tough. But you know, as
Mike,
far as go ahead.
Let's talk about that a little bit, because over the years, so you run one of the most prominent dirt racing websites in the Northeast. So time after time, you get scoops and stories and said, okay, we can't release this until such and such a time. I'll tell you this, but it can't be made public. So you know things. People in the industry know all sorts of things to be true, but you can't say it because it's not in your best interest, because it gets you blacklisted almost. So the things that go on, like you say, I mean, there's no reason for you not to love Fonda and to love sprint car racing and to be great friends with Dean Reynolds and Brett Deo. It's just that you're probably not going to all go to the same Super Bowl party this year because there's friction going on. You know what I mean? What was the last big story? Yep. Someone scooped it before it was supposed to go out and left everyone on the inside of the industry respectful. I think it was a Brett Hearn story. And that happened to us years ago as well.
Yeah, you know, there's been a couple, you know, where you get asked by guys to keep your mouth shut and, hey, look, you know, we found something, you hear something through the grapevine. One of my favorite ones is when I confronted Ron St. Marie Spot from and if he's watching, he'll be, I don't know if he'll laugh or be mad that I'm telling the story, but we were at Eastern States and we were just talking, you know, there was some rumblings and I flat out asked him, you know, what the hell? What do I got to lose? You know, like if you hear it, for me, I might as well go to the source of the information. If I know the people involved and the parties involved, I'd rather just go and ask, like, hey, what's the scoop? Like, because there's two things I can do here. You can tell me the truth and then I'll shut up, because anybody that has talked to me and told me, don't print that, I don't want that on the record, this is between us, you know what? It never sees the light of day. That's how you keep your sources. That's how you keep people telling you stuff. And then, you know, when things come about, you know, a lot of times they'll call you and you're the guy that's going to get that story. You know, I've had a couple of drivers turn down opportunities with other media entities, and they came to us with the story because in the past I've asked them about something. They said, look, that's true, but you can't say anything. I'm like, okay, no problem. You know, so you got to make sure you know, being in the media in dirt racing, you don't want to burn any of those bridges. You know, you got to, if something's off the record, it's off the record, and that's that. You know, and sometimes you see the story come out and it just pisses you off, you know, because it's like, I had that story 3 weeks ago or a month ago, and, you know, I couldn't print it then. I said, hey, call me or give me a heads up when it's going to be okay. And then you see it somewhere else and you're just like, mother, you know, and you get pretty mad. I know there's a couple of times George has talked me off the ledge. George Smith, you know, another one of the owners, has talked me off the ledge when I was losing my shit. I'll say it that way, because I was losing it on the phone. I'm like, that mother, we had this. He promised it. We were going to get it. And then, you know, and we even did things to make sure it didn't leak into places, on the site and all of that, to try to be fair and respectful to all the parties involved that were in negotiations and everything else. And came back and just, and just, pissed me off. But again, it's all part of it. Like, you have to understand that that's part of being in this industry. Sometimes you're going to get the scoop and sometimes you're not. But for me, the thing that I always say, there's two things. Don't burn the bridge. Make sure the guy tells you something off the record, you do it. And when you do get the story, do it the right way. Make sure you cover it the right way. Get all parties involved if it's something controversial or whatever. But always do it the right way. Don't leave any of those stones unturned. And put out a product that you're proud of when you're done with it. Anybody can go and take, a post off Facebook or whatever, and that's, to me, that's not a scoop. I don't worry about that stuff, but when it comes to having a real story, you call the driver, you have a conversation, you call the car owner involved, you have the conversation, and you do your best you can to meet and talk to all parties involved and do the story again the right way.
Right on. Adam, if I can take control here, I got a couple topics I want you guys, if we can. First off, Spencer, roll that the ad for the race in Florida, where it said they had a minimum 10-gallon purchase for every competitor. I had never seen this before. It's for the North Florida Speedway and Lake City, Florida, 2020 International. Look at the bottom. There will be a 10-gallon minimum purchase of Sunoco fuel for this event. And that just struck me, guys. I've been around this deal 25 years now. I've never seen that. What's your thoughts on that? Obviously, it's the Sunoco Fuels 2020 Winter National, so it makes sense as a sponsor-related thing. But your thoughts on that, Mike, first?
I'm assuming you're going to use more than 10 gallons of race fuel at racing on a weekend. I'm going to assume that. And I understand it. I mean, these fuel companies and the tire companies, they spend a lot of money putting money into purses, putting money into tracks, point funds, and all of that, and helping tracks still survive. I mean, a lot of racetracks, some of it is fuel and tire money that kind of gets them by, because there's, you have your good weeks and you have your bad weeks, but that tire and fuel money really helps out with the point fund and all of that and all the other stuff they're doing. So I get it, but man, that's tough, but hey, maybe it's a tech thing too. You know what I mean? Guys, if you're racing, up north and they're traveling down there, I mean, look, I think they're running Dirt Car Sportsman rules at that. Now, if I recall, Dirt Car is a VP deal. So all those guys coming, guess what they're running? In theory, I would assume. I mean, that's just me. But if you're from New York and you're going to Florida and you're running Dirt Car rules and it's Dirt Car sanctioned, I mean, I see the logo on there. For the most part, they're VP oriented. So that's interesting. I can say it that way, I guess is the best way to say it.
Well, and I think it's the promoter's way of saying, I don't care if you have a car full of VP racing fuel, you're going to walk over to the Sunoco truck and you're going to buy 10 gallons because that's the agreement we've got. And Clint, you and I talked about this today with Hoosier Racing Tires. Mm-hmm. I mean, they write a check to the tracks that run their tires based on tires that get sold. So fuel is a tough thing. Tires are much easier to track than gallons of fuel.
No, and I think you're right. You both bring up great points. They're probably going to use more than 10. And Adam, like you said, well, we don't care what you're doing, but you're going to support it. It just caught me off guard. Interesting. Let's move on to Atlantic City. Atlantic City coming up, Mike. Are you going quickly?
This is actually the first year I'm going to take a year off. I'm going down. Adam Buchanan, who's racing in the league right now, I believe, is going down to do the iRacing at Racing Extravaganza put on by Wicked Energy Gum and all that. And he asked me if I want to go, and I've never been to that show. And we got a good supporter down there, BAPS Motor Speedway, that works with us on some stuff. And good friend Jeremy Elliott from SprintCarLimited.com is going to be there. And Colton's going to have a couple modified races at BAPS this year. So I'm going to go kind of spend some time with him, and we're going to talk about some modified racing with some of the fans down there in Sprint Car Country. So it's just one of those things, I think it was just time. I needed a break from indoor racing. Nothing against it. I used to love it and go to every one of them. And now it's just like, all right, I'm a little burned out with it. So I need a year to refresh, recoup my my indoor racing mentality per se. And plus, I leave Wednesday to go to the Sunshine Swing in Florida. So I didn't want to, spend all weekend working, get home, spend a couple days at work, and then fly out. So for me, it's going to be nice to take a little break this weekend, do some talking, maybe do a story from the show or two. But the focus is going to be on what's coming up here this coming week or next week with the Sunshine Swing for the Short Track Super Series. It's going to be a big week for us at Dirt Track Digest TV, probably the biggest week that we've ever had. So we're really looking forward to that. We're pumped about the chance to cover some racing in Florida and have some fun. But, Lenny shows, Atlantic City, of all the shows you go to, I mean, I like Syracuse now because it's close to home, but Atlantic City is still a good time because, there's so many people that go to that show. And if you don't get a chance to see, like for me, you guys were talking about earlier, I travel a ton. So I get to see all these guys, in PA and in Jersey and, in Delaware once in a while, but you don't get to see them and kind of hang out. What's neat about the indoor stuff, everybody's there. Everybody's staying in town. Everybody goes over to Bally's Wild Wild West. They got $4 or $5 or $3 drafts, whatever it is. You sit down, you bullshit about racing, and you have a good time. And that to me is what indoor racing really is. But Atlantic City again, of all of them, is probably one of my favorites. And again, I'm sad I'm not going, but on the flip side, again, I'm leaving a couple days later to head to Florida, so it's just going to be a lot to handle there for a few days. So I'm going to enjoy a easy weekend. Adam Buchanan's driving down; he's all excited. I'm like, I could be a co-pilot. I don't get to do that much, so and I'm sure there'll be a sleeping picture or two of me on Facebook by the end of the weekend. But hey, I'll take it.
That's what memories are made of. People taking pictures while you sleep.
Yep.
The one point I wanted to make, guys, was that if it sells out, they're going to double the payout winner share of the purse from $5,000 to 10. I think that's another cool promotion, a great way to get the drivers to get behind it, and kind of like we're getting everybody to share our broadcast. Adam, I'll throw it to you first. Your thoughts on that promotion, saying if we sell it out, we'll double the purse. I mean, every track probably could say that. I mean, I can't think of a short track out there that almost couldn't pull that off,
Well, and with indoor racing, it's a lot easier because the seats are actual seats. Like, how do you do that at a place like Flamborough Speedway where their seats aren't numbered? And I'm getting a little technical now, but no, I think it's great.
Well, the short answer to it is like Oshweekend is the same setup, but we sell 5,000 tickets for our reserved events. If I sold 5,000 people in, we would let them go, So,
yeah,
pretty cool though.
Mike, are you? What's that?
Go ahead,
Are you
Adam,
getting
what were you gonna say?
messages right now? Are you getting messages right now, Mike, from one of your drivers?
No, I'm actually getting a message from one of my writers, Ken Bruce, who's watching at home, and he was commenting on our media talk and things. So, he's kind of in the same boat as I am, and he doesn't know what story made me upset, but I'll tell him. I'm going to tell him, and it was actually one that included him in it. So, again, because with our guys, our team, we're friends, and Adam, Clint, from the past, spending time with us, we all cheer for one another, dig for one another, to get those stories, get those scoops, and fortunately right now Kenny Bruce has been just killing it for us. We've had videos every day. He sent me, he goes, Mike, I did some videos at Motorsports. I'm like, oh cool, send them over. Then I look and there's 20 videos in there. I'm like, holy geez, he wasn't kidding. He did some videos. So it's been neat. Every day we've had some new video content for our YouTube channel. And I feel bad. I got a couple episodes of the Dirt that I got to post, and I got those done, but I'm going to wait and, kind of run through Ken's stuff here. And then we'll get to our episodes of the Dirt with LJ Lombardo and Matt Tanner here in a couple weeks, or maybe early next week before I head to Florida. It's neat, and it's cool to interact with Kenny. I don't know if you watched the Billy Pouch Jr. interview that he did, and Billy giving him a little crap, but it was fun to watch Kenny get kind of caught off guard.
Those are the good
Mike,
ones.
last question for you.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Adam.
I was just going to say, when you get people out of their routine of standard answers and actually cause them to say interesting things. For example, GT Smith has sent me about 15 messages in the last 4 minutes. And if we could read these messages out loud, it would be some of the most compelling audio that you've heard in a long time, Clinton, but it would just be one extended bleep.
Well, Mike, thanks for joining us. You can stick around if you want. Let's to the B main at Lanier Speedway. It's the Rivalz Elite Pro Division. They've got 3 laps to go on the B main. We'll throw it over to Steve Ovens for the call.
Not a dominant night so far here for Nygaard as we're watching Adam Buchanan. Buchanan started 12th. He's picked off 6 cars so far to work his way into 6th. So a solid effort here going for Adam Buchanan, who's been really turning it up of late. Watching Jeffrey Barker there out of Brewerton, fellow Brewerton, New York driver. Field works down the back straightaway. Checkered flag is in the air. And picking up the win in tonight's B main is Dakota Kuhn. Larry Moody will finish second. Troy Wag.
Wow. Was that the B main? Did you see who was in that B main, Adam?
Yeah, there's some
Dakota
heavy
Kuhn,
hitters
Troy
in there.
Wagaman, Cody Hartlob. Oh my goodness! In case
I'll
you're
tell you
joining
who
us, that
wasn't
is
in the B main.
who's that?
GT Smith, who's been messaging me nonstop, and young Connor Ross, who was sitting beside me on the couch. They did not have the kind of nights that they would have hoped for. Frustrating times, but that's the sport. It's an unforgiving sport, Clinton.
Looked like a tough go there at Lanier tonight. That little short track, in case you're joining us or new program. Rivalz Race Chat is also in conjunction with the Rivalz Elite Pro Sprint Car Series on iRacing, and those are some of the best drivers, probably 40 of the best tonight from all over, basically North America, getting together on the iRacing servers produced by 39 Streaming under our programming here, and we'll be joining them in the A main feature coming up shortly. They've been running through qualifying for the last 45 minutes, and last minutes before we send them to the grid. Adam, we've had a great show. A couple more points I want to run across quickly. The crate sprints in Quebec have really taken off. They've got a website up now. It's cratesprintquebec.com if you want to check it out. Total French, so I can't understand it, but it looks really cool. They've really taken off down there at St. Guillaume Super Speedway. They're working very well with the folks at Brockville and us up here at the Action Sprint Tour and Ashweekend Speedway. Also, I sent them the rules. That came back translated into French. I don't know if they've changed the rules or not, but I'm taking them at their word that they've just translated them to French. So it's super exciting to have them on board. And quickly comment about that.
No, it's a great thing. It's a great growth class, Clinton. It's I've never seen a class grow this quickly before, so it's a lot of fun to watch. The best part about it is they respect the fact that the rules are the rules and something great has been created. Instead of trying to reinvent it, they're running with it. And that's what should happen. That's what'll keep it growing.
Super exciting also that both Brockville and Quebec are working with us up here in the southwestern part of Ontario, southern Ontario, to get the schedules together and work on some great deals. And I'm going to make a prediction right now. This year's Canadian Crate Sprint Car Nationals on September 18th, the Friday night of the Canadian Nationals, will be 65 cars or more. That's my prediction right now. We'll see how far we get there this year. Moving on, Project Pinball, another storyline we have followed throughout the year. The Pinball Guyberson story being built by the folks at St. Thomas More High School in Hamilton, by the high school kids. They have done a great job on this car. It's a Sunfire that they're putting together. We showed you cage picks being all done. The kids are just finishing up exams, and they're coming back. But excited to announce that Gale's Auto Aftermarket, a big supporter in the weekend to a lot of the drivers there. I called Gale last week, explained him what we needed. We sent him the wish list. And you know what, Adam? Gale said, I'll cover the whole list. So thank you so much, Gale. He's a big fan of pinball, said he wanted to get behind it too. So, Gale, thank you so much for all you've done. And as we said, Gale, the Wall of Famer in his Wall of Fame induction. If you haven't, if Gale hasn't helped you yet in your race last weekend, well, you haven't met him yet, because he helps pretty much everybody he comes across. And super cool to have that going. We're almost wrapped up here, Adam. They're finishing up the warm-up over at Lanier, and we had another great show. It went by fast tonight.
Yeah. Let's do a special, real quick broadcast either later sometime between now and next Tuesday to do the draw. 64 people shared the broadcast, Clinton, so you're giving away 2 or 3 pairs. I can't remember what you said. It'll take a little bit of time to set that draw up, I would think. But we should do it and promote however you want. How do you want to do it? I just want to get people excited to know it's going to happen again next week, to see the numbers grow even more and people get into winning stuff and sharing stuff. And don't you think?
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think it was super cool. I'm just trying to look at this thing that I've seen here. So we got this app we can use. It's like called Wheel of Names. You put everybody's name in it, and then you just do a spin and eliminate we could probably work that out pretty quick. So thank everybody for sharing it. We appreciate when you want to do that. We'll talk to Spencer and get that back. Spencer's up this game. We got a fancy new intro. We saw a sponsor. Links rolling across the bottom. Thank you, Spencer, for everything you do. We have some great things coming, folks, and we really appreciate you sharing and getting behind our broadcasts. And Adam, anything you want to say before we move it on to the A-Main here from the Rivalz Pro Elite Division at Lanier?
It was a good show, a lot of fun. So what we need to do better, Clinton, next week, we had some awesome comments when we said that you make the call between Stephen Nasse and Bubba Pollard. We're going to have to do better in managing the comments and getting people's feedback. That's where it's going to grow. So
no, it's been great.
Be fun.
Once again, everybody, thank you, John Carly, for joining us. And, quickly, John said it best probably here. If you get excited and you want to do it, you can be heard. You can make a difference in your division, your track, your series. Get behind it. I mean, we've seen massive growth at our Schweeken Speedway because a lot of us are excited about it, and everybody's pulling the rope in the same direction. We've seen the same thing with John. We've seen the same thing with Dave Gainforth in the Oscar Hot Rods, the APC series. The Canadian racing scene's happening, folks, and we're proud to be a part of it. So that's all I got for you. Adam, anything you want to say?
No, that's it. We'll see you next Tuesday.
David Flick out of Livingston, Montana. Ryan Beagle, the big dog, out of Victoria, Ontario, will start alongside Brendan Lacey out of Bixby, Oklahoma, in car number 97. Alan Downey in car number 20. Ernie Williams Jr., the 91, will make up row number 4. Row 5 will be Keith Jackson in the 13 out of Bonne Terre, Missouri, starting alongside Brandon Schultz out of St. Paul, Minnesota. Jack Clevenger, Kevin Hanley will make up row number 6. Dakota Kuhn, Larry Moody will make up row number 7. These are all the B-main cars. Troy Wagaman, Sean Timmerman will make up row number 8. Row 9, Cody Hartlaub, Adam Buchanan. Row 10 will be Stephen Goldner and Jeffrey Barker. Row number 11 will be Shane Pierce and Chris Steele. And your final starters tonight, the 22 of Jason Nygaard, the 31 of Marty Barnes. And as the field works down the front straightaway at your local short track, this would be the wave lap right here. As they now get ready to go down the back straightaway. Getting ready to go green flag racing here. And race fans, it was at this point in the racing program, each and every Saturday night at the Land of Legends, that my good friend Gary Montgomery would say, race fans, it's time to sit down and hold on to your seats, because these men, by the grace of God, iRacing and 800 horsepower, are ready to go to work. We're green flag racing down the back straightaway. Lap number 1 goes on the board, and it's Alex Bergeron. So Bergeron from the pin tonight leads lap number 1. And we've got a couple of Glenn Steyer's racing cars fighting down on the bottom lane for position. That's Kevin Lovey's and the big dog, Ryan Beagle. Willie's standing up on his chair, cheering and rooting for the big dog as Beagle goes down to the inside. Look at him, almost took out the concrete barrier. That's how low on the racetrack he runs right now. Racing side by side with his teammate, Kevin Lovey's. You can see him 2 and 3 wide behind him. But right now, as the teammates battle down low, look at Ernie Williams up on the top shelf. Top shelf through 1 and 2 and down the back straightaway. Williams, the ultimate dirt, as we've got a change for the lead. And folks, let me tell you, these are a couple of drivers that there is absolutely no love lost here. Tyler Schell and Alex Bergeron do battle down the back straightaway. Schell takes the lead back from Bergeron. Bergeron tries to turn back down low. Couldn't make it happen that time, but he will into turn number 1. So Bergeron back to the top. Here comes Schell back down to the bottom. And the yellow lights are on. Yellow, yellow, yellow here on lap number 6. So our very first caution flag of the evening comes as we now put 7 laps on the board. Brad Ovens working the hamster wheel in the 3-9 streaming studios, trying to have us a look here at what happened. And Shane Pierce got together. Jason Nygaard into the pit area. Not quite sure what happened to Nygaard. Nygaard now 2 laps down to the field. And let's take another look here. Dakota Kuhn got sideways with Cody Hartlaub. And you saw Nygaard pull into the pits, so something must have happened to Hartlaub, or to Nygaard there to put him in the pits as we come back. Green flag racing off turn number 4. Field works down the back straightaway. Shell takes the lead. Bergeron down to the inside, and he'll reclaim the top spot. Couple of cars battling for position here. That's Brennan Lacey. One car all sorts of sideways here on the front straightaway. Gathers it back in, and we will race on. Ernie Williams now going after the 12 of Bergeron as Brennan Lacey battles here with the 18 of Kevin Loveys. Oh, I think they made a little bit of contact there, and Lacey's going to squeak on by. And now here comes the freight train. Beagle down to the inside. Big Dog taking a bite out of crime. He'll take a spot away from Loveys. Brandon Schultz drives around the outside. Meanwhile, we've got a battle for the lead. Bergeron, slide job into turn number 3. But Shell right back underneath him. He'll reclaim the top spot, and Shell shuts the door hard into turn number 1. We saw it last week at Knoxville. Absolutely no love lost here between these two. A rivalry that brewed way before the Rivalz Elite Pro Series started here for 2019-2020. And we're seeing it play out here tonight. Bergeron, what a momentum run. You watched him come off the cushion off turn 2 to set up that slider into turn 3, but Shell sets himself up nicely here to make the pass in turns 1 and 2. Bergeron back down to the inside. Brad, I think this is how it's going to be for the second half of this race. We're just going to keep watching sliders here for the next 18 laps. What a race up front. Shell and Bergeron. We don't call it elite for nothing. Bergeron back to the top side. Oh, look out, Shell got sideways. And that opens the door for Ernie Williams Jr. Ernie Williams Jr. takes the 91 to the second spot. Now he's going for the lead in turn 4. Oh, Williams tried to crowd him up there, but Bergeron kept his foot in the gas. So Bergeron leads down the back straightaway. Williams right now in the 2 spot. And folks, we haven't talked about him much here tonight, but Brandon Schultz is up to 4th. Brandon Schultz could absolutely steal this show. Let's see how he does here as the waning laps roll off here. As now Shell going to work on Ernie Williams Jr., and that's exactly what Bergeron wants to see if he could see it. Williams and Shell doing battle with each other, and that's allowed Bergeron to step out a couple of car lengths. I think Shell might be just a tenth quicker than Williams, but Williams has that preferred groove right now. And as long as Williams is up on the outside lane, Shell really can't do anything with him. Schultz is right there in the 4 spot. Schultz had a podium run last night with the Oshweekon Outlaws, where he also picked up a win in the King of the Wing event they had for the Make-A-Wish Foundation here just a few weeks ago. Pretty awesome to see an iRacing league doing some charity work to boot. And the yellow lights are on. Larry Moody's in trouble here on the, I think that's the back straightaway. Yellow lights are on here on lap number 24. And I didn't see what started it, Brad, but I did see that Larry Moody was crossed up on the back chute. As we work caution here, lap 25 goes on the board. 10 laps to go. Oh, a couple of cars getting together there. I think that was Brennan Lacey. I think Lacey got involved in that one, and it looked like Lacey might have had some help from behind. We'll watch him here. Oh. Now, interesting to note, Lacey had a little bit of contact, had some help, but don't forget, earlier in this race, Lacey and Lovey's were leaning on each other pretty good earlier in this race, so a score settled there. Here as we work caution, coming back to green this time. Strickland GM pace truck pulls off of the racing surface, and you saw Shell take a peek down to the bottom, trying to get the jump here on the restart. Bergeron knows how to play the game, made it so that Shell had to back off the gas, but look at this battle for the lead. Ernie Williams Jr., can he take the lead? Down the back straightaway they go. Oh boy, this is so close. Williams on the top. Oh, Williams caught the wall. Catches Shell, and Shell's gonna lose 3 spots. More contact into turn 1. Everybody jamming up behind them, but they're gonna stay clean and green. Bergeron continues to lead. Williams running in 2. That moves Schultze up to 3. And now the yellow lights are back on as we've got a mess in the back of the pack. Yellow lights are on. And this very well could set us up for a green-white checkered finish here. How many times have we said that this season with the Rivalz Elite Pro Series? So yellow lights are on here. 32 laps are on the board. Only 3 remaining. And the call comes down from the tower. We will have 1 of 2 attempts at a green-white checkered finish. Let's see what happened here. We're going to watch Alan Downey in the 20. And Downey with a little bit of help from behind. Downey got around, and you can see the accordion effect that happened from there. So working yellow here, we're going to have up to 2 attempts at a green-white checkered finish here. They are double file as they work down the back straightaway, getting ready to come to green. Green-white checkered will be the finish here tonight. Bergeron waits. Green lights are on. He's on the gas. And Bergeron with a pretty good start there. Williams trying to take it to the outside, but Bergeron pulls away. Lovey's now up to the 2 spot. As they're 3 wide for 3rd behind them, Brandon Schultz, Tyler Shell do battle. White flag is out for Alex Bergeron. Down the back straightaway for the final time. Boy, it looked like it was going to be a close finish, but Bergeron, with a great restart, will win at Lanier. Second across the line is going to be Ryan Beagle. Excuse me, that was Beagle, not Lovey's there on that final lap. The big dog will finish 2 tonight. Ernie Williams Jr. will finish 3. Brandon Schultz and Tyler Shell will round out your top 5 finishers. So Team ABR takes one back here tonight after coming home in the runner-up spot for the last 2 races in a row. And we will head down to victory lane. We will talk to your top 3 here in just a moment, folks. Stay tuned. You're watching live coverage of the Rivalz Elite Pro Series here on 3-9 Streaming and Turn 5 Media. Welcome back, folks. You're watching the Rivalz Elite Pro Series here from the Lanier National Speedway. And we're going to get ready to talk to your top three. And as we get ready to talk to your top three, working on trying to get contact here with Ryan Beagle to get him up into the waiting room. I'm sorry, Brad, I'm having a little trouble here trying to get him up here to talk with us. We'll work on getting Beagle here momentarily. All right, let's go ahead and talk with your third place finisher here tonight, Ernie Williams Jr., driving the Ultimate Dirt TV number 91. Ernie Williams, congratulations, my friend. I think you've got to unmute yourself here so we can hear from you. Finishing in the third spot tonight after starting eighth. Ernie, congratulations, man, on a great run.
Yeah, all in all, not a bad run. I think if that last caution wouldn't have come out, I believe I could have probably won. It seemed like I was a little bit faster than him right there. I was at least catching him, got side by side, maybe even was, I don't know, there for a lap or so. And that last caution, I got out of rhythm. Beagle got around me on the bottom. All in all, finished third. Not a bad night. I qualified like garbage again. I'll get that figured out here soon. But all in all, not a bad night. I mean, coming from eighth to third, probably should at least finish second, but we'll take it.
Absolutely, man. Not a bad run at all. And I agree with you. I think if not for that last caution and the green-white checkered, you definitely seemed like you were able to keep the momentum up on that top line there and really get a solid run.
Yeah, it felt like it. Like I said, I'm pretty sure I was side by side with him, and when the yellow flag come out, they gave him the spot, and I knew after that it was going to be, because I needed a few laps just to get momentum. I had a good start. That start helped me get at least side by side with him a little bit. Then that last start, he got me just a little bit. He seen that I was got a good start the first time, so he wasn't going to allow that to happen again. He got a little better start, put me a little bit further behind than what I started on the previous one. And after that, green-white checkered, I can't beat him up. And Beagle he must have been coming from the bottom. I think he ran from the B or something.
Yeah.
And he finished second, got around me on the bottom. And there was even another guy behind him. I was so worried about Bergeron, I really wasn't worried about nobody behind me. And I seen him duck underneath, and I was like, well, hell, he just snuck in and got a second. But all in all, good run by him, good run by Alex. Congratulations to them, too. They deserve it. It's a tricky track tonight, very slick, very technical. You had to be on your A game at every inch of the track or you would have got past. So them guys, congratulations to them. I mean, like I said, it was, my hands are sweating. I mean, it was one of the more vigorous races that I was been in a while, to be honest.
You talked about wanting to improve qualifying. Was it time trials or the heat races that you want to try to improve on?
Oh, time trials. I mean, I feel like if I could start in the front row or second row of the heat race, they invert four. So if I can qualify, we had 12 or 3 heats tonight. So if I'd have made the 12, I'd have been in the top 2 rows, and that's what I was shooting for. And that's the hell, man. I think I ended up like 23rd or something. It just bombed it. I really didn't know where the line was. The track was real slick then. I was guessing on the line, and when you start guessing out there, it's just, that's what happens. You'll lose 3/10, and that's what they beat me by. But you get it figured out in the heat races. I come from, like I said, I qualified so bad. I started 4th row in the heat. Luckily, I got to 3rd. That was a battle there to get that far. Once I made it to the feature, I thought there was 4 heats, so I figured I was starting like 12th or 13th position. Then they throw me in 8th. I didn't know that until I got to the grid. Then that changed my outlook, and I was like, well, 4th or 5th for sure, and if a couple cautions go right, I might build a podium. And beginning of the race, everybody was running low and left my line open, so I got around them. I got to 3rd fairly quick, and me, Tyler, and Bergeron was running out a little bit, and I was just letting them guys battle, and I knew they wasn't pulling away from me, so I was like, man, I'm just going to sit right here and just wait, and maybe something happened. Tyler and them got into each other, and I got around Tyler by that way. Then I got to Bergeron, and that one caution, I got a good restart, and that was about my only chance of probably winning the race. And we go from that to 3rd, which, like I said, all in all, not a bad night from where we started.
Well, it was a good story tonight, Ernie, and you certainly told it well, my friend. Great job here tonight. Who would you like to thank for getting you here up on the top 3?
Absolutely. Give a shout out to Tim Nichols with Tim's Dirt Track Similars. We're going to be in York, PA this weekend for the Racing Extravaganza. If you guys don't know nothing about it, go on Facebook. It's Matt Henninger's putting it on with the Wicked Cushion Esports live event. It's going to be awesome. Tune into it. I'm sure it'll be all over Facebook and everything. Turn 5 Media, you guys do an awesome job. Can't wait to go back and watch it. Oswego Speedway guys and all them guys for putting it up, putting the league up. I know Cody wasn't here tonight, but he puts a lot of effort into everything too. And thanks for the fans for sticking it out, watching it. Pretty sure it was decent, good racing all day. And like I said, congratulations to Bergeron and Ryan Beagle in their first and second place. And we'll see you guys next Tuesday, sir.
Great job, Bernie.
Yep, thank you.
All right, there's Ernie Williams Jr. finishing in position number 3 here tonight. Now we're going to talk to a driver that finished second here tonight. And Ryan Beagle, Ernie Williams said he thought he was sitting pretty good, and then here comes this 84 car down on the bottom on that last lap.
Yeah, we got a good restart there. I don't think I made Brandon happy, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
Tell me about the track tonight, man. It looked pretty slippery there at the end.
Yeah, it was. It been like that just about every week, so you kind of get used to it and kind of get a feel for it.
Now, earlier today, Rivalz Elite Pro Series aside, I was catching up on some old video from Oswego Speedway and saw you wheeling around there, and I about fell out of my chair. I saw Ryan Beagle running the cushion on the top side. And I thought, my goodness, that doesn't sound like Ryan Beagle.
Yeah, the way they redid the track, I think it was a year and a half or 2 years ago now, and the top side's more a lot stronger than it used to be. But when it was the old track, we used to run the bottom.
Absolutely, man. Tell me about your run tonight. Now, you started 5th. And I don't think it was just as easy as going from 5th to 2nd. You really had to run your way back up into the top 5, top 3 tonight.
Yeah, I tried some stuff right against the inside wall, and we fell back to 7th. And I got back on the high horse and picked off a couple each restart, and got really lucky there at the end. So,
well, man, a solid effort here tonight for 2nd. Tell us about some of the folks who helped make it happen.
Yeah, I gotta thank Glenn Steyer's Racing, NRAM, Strickland's, you guys for doing this awesome broadcast, and just everybody here that puts this on, keeps me busy on a Tuesday night.
Good deal, man. It's always a pleasure to talk to you, and we've been fortunate. You've been fortunate enough. We've been talking to you quite a bit.
Yeah, I missed last night with Oswego Outlaws. I kind of gotta dial it back here and get some race cars ready, but. Hopefully we'll talk to you again next week.
All right, man. Sounds good. Great job tonight.
Thanks.
All right, there's Ryan Beagle finishing in position number 2 here tonight. And now we'll bring in the driver that picks up the big W here tonight. Puts one back on the board here this week in week number 11, Alex Bergeron. Congratulations, man. That was quite a battle. And not just at the end of the race. All race long was a battle tonight.
Yeah, for sure. It was a fun race. Track was very, very racy and very slick as well. The middle and the bottom in 1 and 2 was very fast. Actually, the bottom and top in 1 and 2 was very fast, both of them. So, but 3 and 4, the top side was way quicker, and that's where we made up ground there tonight.
I could tell right in the B main that you guys were going to have a great track to work with in the A, because there was 4 and 5 different lines guys were using out there. I mean, this track looked like it set up pretty nice for everybody in the feature to really run wherever you wanted to set your car up to go.
Yeah, absolutely. The track was slick everywhere, and you could run bottom, middle, everywhere. Beginning of the night, even in the heat race, it was very, very slick. So. Lanier is well known for this kind of racing, and that's why we like going here.
Yeah, no doubt about it. For such a small place, it puts on just absolutely dynamite great racing. You had racing with you and Tyler tonight. You had racing late in the event with you and Ernie. Really, nobody knew who was going to win this race up until the end, because it was just a matter of, it felt like it was going to come down to that last lap of who had the most momentum coming to the checkered flag. And then we get that green and white checkered finish, and that yellow with the green and white checkered really seemed to kind of put things back in your control.
Yeah, well, I knew I just had to do my marks and not make any mistakes there the last 2 laps. I just went bottom 1, 2, and top 3, 4, and I knew that was the fastest way around. The car felt great all night there, and that's why I decided to go up there in the last 2 laps. And car was very stable right around the racetrack, and once again, Team ABR made a good job on the sets, and we fell fast again tonight. Jason had bad luck again. Software issues there, steering wheel. It's sad for him that night, but we came home with a win for the team, so it's pretty good.
Yeah, no doubt. You guys were strong right out of the box tonight, setting fast time and time trials. That's got to, leave you guys feeling really good here tonight, knowing that you came in and you were fast right away and you come home with the win. Alex, tell us about all the folks that helped make it happen for you.
Well, like I said, every time, Team ABR, couldn't have done that without them. So Jason Nygaard, my teammate, my girlfriend Rebecca Millett, all of our partners, CSI Shocks, Pit Logic app, BK Designs, Martin Inc. Farm Equipments. They always support us and they stick with us all the time. So gotta thank them for that. It's a huge support for us, and to be in the series and win races is it's an accomplishment. So we're proud of that. And all the fans out there for tuning in, my dad for watching always, you guys for doing an awesome broadcast every week, and Rivalz Racing League for putting this up. It's a pleasure for us to go on the racetrack with all the guys out there and Rivalz. So we'll see you guys next week.
No doubt about it, man. You guys have definitely been raising the bar week in and week out. Great job here tonight.
Thank you, guys.
All right, there's Alex Bergeron, picks up the win here tonight. Week number 11 of the 20-race Rivalz Elite Pro Series. $12,000 purse in point fund money is on the line at the end of the season. And Alex Bergeron has just had an incredible season. He's not won every race of the 11. He's won a good share of them so far. But, a night like tonight, you just didn't know who was going to pick up the victory here tonight. But that is going to do it for us here, our coverage here tonight of the Rivalz Elite Pro Series here at the Lanier National Speedway. We want to thank everybody from the Rivalz Elite Pro Series League and the Rivalz Racing League for having us out here tonight to be a part of the coverage. Stay tuned tomorrow night for Rivalz Blacktop Series. We'll be back with you at 8:45 tomorrow night. And on behalf of executive producer Brad Ovens in the 3-9 Streaming Studios, my name is Stephen Ovens saying thank you for tuning in. Congratulations to Alex Bergeron, winner of the Rivalz Elite Pro Series here at Lanier. Good night, everybody.